So I'm trying this weekly challenge to kind of organize myself to do a live stream every week. This was in December of 2025. Every week in December, I did a live stream. You may have already seen the teaser videos for those live streams. And those are all going to be hopefully posted over the next month or two because it takes me a while to edit them. This is one of those videos, which has been cut down from anywhere from 3 to 2 hours.
And put that one over there, I think. Right over here. Yep, might as well. Just get that out of the way. Okay, so we are officially streaming on everything. We've got so much going on here. I don't even know. I feel like I want to put it right there, actually. So we're on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook. We are also streaming on Cam 4. For anyone who's watching on Cam 4, welcome. Bring this up a little. And we're not able to, as I tried, I was trying to stream on YouTube, but unfortunately the connection on YouTube was going really terrible, sadly. So anyways, welcome everyone. Yeah, depending where you're watching this. See, this is so hot and bright over here. I'm going to move this, I think. Oh yeah, that's a little better. So welcome everyone. I gotta move my chair a little. My bouncy ball. Okay. Depending where you're watching this, right? Okay. Oh, I'm pulling the wrong thing. That's so funny. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Who's down there? Wonderful. Perfect. Awesome. Oh, I think we're going to move the laptop a little closer. Yeah, we're going to do that. Boom. Awesome. Hey, everyone. Amanda. Thank you. Yes, as you see, Amanda, I do have a onesie. Everyone watching on Facebook, I am wearing a onesie. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I'm sorry. I apologize that it's not live. Unfortunately, the live stream for that didn't work. But I do have. Hang on. I'll show you my onesie. Take this off. I'm gonna get a, and I have topics of what I'm gonna talk about here. For those of you on Facebook, you might not be able to see it, but there you go. I'll push that over. Okay, so hang on. Let me show you my onesie. As I mentioned, I am going to be in the festive spirit, so I figured I'd put this on. Oh, and I do have bells. Hang on, where did I put them? I mentioned I had, oh, they're all over, they're falling all over. They're falling. All right, so again, keep falling on me. So yeah, I've got some bells. So welcome everyone. Welcome back if you're on YouTube watching this, or if you're on a Facebook Live or Cam4 Live. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me once again, as it were. So, I love these little bells. They're great. They're awesome. So if you're watching this on YouTube, as I mentioned, unfortunately, we're not live because the connection was really bad on YouTube, unfortunately. So you're watching the edited version of this. Yeah. So, and for those of you who are wondering, it's come up as an issue before. If you were wondering what my official website is, it's right there behind me, knox.com. Have a look-see. If you're ever wondering what my official social media is, if it changes, if it gets blocked or whatever, that's it. You can always find all that on there. So welcome. So today, as I mentioned in my post, I'm going to talk about my first Christmas, because 'tis the season to talk about Christmas. And I have all of these things that I'm going to be talking about. I have a bunch of my future schedule of notes that I'm going to talk about. And for those of you on Cam4, I'm going to have some surprise schedule notes for those subscribers. And again, those of you on Cam4, it's much appreciated if, oh, hang on, let me just do a little recording here. Start recording. And we're recording as well up there. So we got recordings everywhere. So anyways, welcome everyone. Yeah, so 'tis the season to talk about Christmas, I guess. Christ Mass. Paganism, it's something that honestly I don't know much about. But I grew up, interestingly. So let me feed into why I wanted to talk about this, because interestingly enough, I'm actually working on a documentary and a novel that I'm working on. And this ball. And this is kind of the reason I wanted to talk about this, because this is a part of that discussion of what I want to talk about. So my first Christmas, it was very interesting. I came to Canada. My parents brought me to Canada. And there's a lot of things that I vaguely sort of remember. And I'm not sure how much of it is memory or just your mind sort of creating what it wants to create, as it were, because sort of the mind does that, especially as a kid, right? The mind sort of gets molded into what it wants. That's the thing. So when I think about my childhood, I wonder sometimes, well, how much of it do I remember? How much of it don't I remember? How much of it was real? And I think back to that and everyone's experiences. And for me, it was the type of thing where I feel like I had a Christmas before that I vaguely kind of remember, but not really. So I think I'm gonna say I was around the age of 4. I think 4 was my first Christmas that I remember. And, I could take a look at the immigration paperwork to find out exactly when I got to Canada. But if I'm thinking about it, I'd say 3 would have been the early. I know I was 3 when pretty sure that I was 3 years old when I got here, but I'm not too sure. But when the Christmas was the previous year, so I would have been 2, or if I would have been 3, then turning 2. If I was 3 years old, turning to 4, or 4, turning to 5. I think maybe I was 3 years old. I kind of vaguely sort of think that was the situation. And I remember we really didn't have that much money. And we lived in a small little complex. And you open the front door, and the first thing you see is just a long hallway to the left-hand side. There were stairs leading up, but immediately to your right was the kitchen. But straight through down the hallway led you to the family room, the living room. And the first thing you see was a television. And I remember the television sort of being on a wooden stand, and it had claw feet. And I don't know if the feet were attached to the TV itself, or if it was a stand and we put the TV on it. I don't actually know. But it was really old. I mean, it was a black and white television still, I remember. And I don't remember going to sleep or anything like that. I don't even really remember it being Christmas, as it were. I don't remember that aspect of it. And but what I really vividly remember is this TV on this wooden stand, and it kind of comes down in the middle, and it had 4 feet. And it's interesting because Christmas wasn't really that big of a deal necessarily in our family. I mean, it could have been, but it wasn't necessarily something that was, I don't know, built up in a way. Oh, I just lost this. Hang on. And so Christmas for us wasn't really, I don't know, we didn't really do carols or anything like that or plan anything specific. We just knew that it was Christmas and Santa Claus. Oh my gosh, I keep hitting this thing. It keeps falling off. Sorry. Really? There we go. Anyways. So, Christmas was just one of those things that just happened. We didn't really build up to it. We didn't sing carols. We didn't do anything like that. And so I'm not even sure if I think it was Christmas, my first Christmas, and I don't remember any build up to it at all in any way. I just remember waking up in the morning, and I came downstairs, and the first thing I saw was the TV. And that's what I remember. This wooden stand with the wooden claws, sort of like a claws that you have on a bathtub. And it was really serene. And it was just the right temperature, and the sun was shining through. And there was 2 presents. One for me, one for my sister. I was sneaking in very quietly. And I get into the room, and I walk up quietly to the TV, not sure exactly whether I just don't even know if I understood what was going on exactly. And all of a sudden, my mother was behind me, because behind us, to the one side, we had a bar, and that bar connected to our kitchen. And that kitchen, my mom was leaning over the counter of the bar and having a coffee. She always did in the morning. I remember her with a curly, dark brown hair, leaning over, looking at me, and just like, yeah, go ahead. It's, take the gift. And I don't remember at all what it was. I remember the square box with a red wrapping and some sort of pattern on it. I don't know what it was exactly, but yeah. I just remember mostly the TV, and that it was a warm, warm morning. It was nice. There was no Christmas tree. There was no snow. But it's interesting because I can't even really place it for a time of year. It just was someday. I want to say it almost felt more like spring. I don't know if this is actually what it was, but it's kind of all I remember. It was just sort of serene. So, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's all I can sort of say about that sort of first Christmas for me. It's interesting because Christmas for us wasn't really, I don't know, it wasn't really a religious thing or anything of that nature. I know my mom had her own religious beliefs. Not that we had religion necessarily in our house. We didn't really talk about it or anything in depth. So it wasn't to do with that. But eventually, I remember Christmases sort of happened every year. Year after year, my mother would put so much effort into baking cookies and breads and there's other foods that are traditional in Hungarian culture, because I'm Hungarian. And yeah, I miss that. There's a lot of foods that I miss that I haven't eaten in years. Some that I know how to make, some that I don't know how to make. And yeah, I think that's the main thing. I'm gonna push this back a little. Hang on. Maybe can I? Can I? I can't. I can't, not from this angle. Anyways, but I'll just roll it this way. Hang on. I feel like that's better. And I think it's the food that I miss the most, let's be honest. Yeah. I think my Christmas is what I remember is sort of the desserts my mother used to make. That's my memory mainly of Christmases. What memories do you all have? And I'm not really a winter person either. I'm not a fan of winter either. I like the cold. So I actually travel a lot between, right now I'm currently in Vancouver, but I'm also in Toronto part-time. I go to Seattle quite a bit, and then I go home as well, as much as possible, whenever I can. But I do travel throughout Canada quite a bit in North America. So I try to avoid the winters. Not that we have much winter. I mean, Vancouver's the California of Canada. So, yeah, when I think of Christmases, I think I really miss the food. We never really had parties or anything official like that, but I remember eventually the presents got bigger and bigger, and then eventually we had a tree, and then we had a real Christmas tree once. But my first Christmas is interesting. It's just sort of, it's almost like it's someone else's memory. But it stood out. We didn't even do anything. We didn't go to a party or anything. I think we were so poor at the time. We really couldn't afford really much of anything. We were struggling so much, and then having to learn, the English language. And that was really it. It's not really a Christmas as you would think of it. And then, of course, later I do remember Christmases, starting one in that particular first place. But anyways, yeah, that's my first Christmas that I remember. So let's talk about next what I have here on my lovely board. And I've got a pen for those of you watching on Cam 4. Got some surprises coming up here for you. So let's talk about the very first thing. This is my December streaming schedule. Okay, I don't know who can see it, but anyways, this is it. So my next live stream that I'm going to do, oh my gosh, this thing is all over the place. So the next live stream I'm going to do is going to be Friday, December 19th. And Friday, December 19th is the next one. I'm going to talk a little bit about just what's coming up for me in December and starting next year. The following week, December 26th, I'm just going to talk about food a little bit. Organic food, carrots, and cucumbers is going to be the topic. And usually I would actually put that onto my health YouTube channel, which is just my name, Brendan Knox, with the number 2. But I feel like I want to put it on my third channel because I want to move away from the other 2 channels for a lot of reasons. And yeah. And then something interesting, my last one, so on Wednesday, the 31st, which is the last day of December, I'm actually not going to do a live stream. I am just going to upload. I'm going to upload a video to my YouTube channel, my new one, which is Brendan Knox, my name, with the number 3. That's not going to be live. And I'm going to talk about what's next. I'm going to talk about the fact that there's so much content out there. And there's a series that I'm starting to work on, different projects. I do have a series that I've already done. You can find it on Spotify at The Opinions Show. At The Opinions Show. That's on Spotify as well as on YouTube. It's got its own channel. And then hopefully by then maybe I'll have a wireless headset is the idea. So those are kind of my thoughts there of what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the month. This isn't really much of a big live stream right now. If you're watching on Facebook right now, or I guess YouTube, you're rewatching this, or Cam 4. In general, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about, just to share my first Christmas with y'all. And, that was my experience. I don't know what yours is. It's very interesting. And the reason I share that is because, I live in North America primarily right now. It's a huge, popular thing. And I just kind of wanted to share it. And so I have this onesie as well, which I have. I don't usually wear onesies or anything like that. I bought it for a recording that I was doing. Yeah. And so that's sort of that. And I have it, and I thought I would wear it because yeah. But actually, it is a little bit warm, to be honest, which is why I put on a t-shirt, because I had the feeling that it was going to be a little warm. Honestly, because I knew that it was going to be warm, because it is actually quite warm. Let's be honest. So anyways, yeah. So that's it. That's my Christmas story. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. So thank you. Hopefully you're going to have a really good Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, or if you celebrate Hanukkah, or anything else that's out there. I don't know them all. I can't know them all, but hopefully it's a good one for you, whatever you celebrate, or if you don't, or if you celebrate the the Gregorian calendar New Year. Great, that's coming up. I wish you the best in general. From one human to the next. So that's really all I have to say about that. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody on Facebook Live. Say goodbye to everyone on Facebook Live. And then, yeah, I'm going to continue on Cam 4. And yeah, apparently my manager says I have to ask everyone to give me a star and a thumbs up, because apparently that's the damn thing people say. And I think that's going to be the only time I'm saying that, and the last time. Not that I don't mind tips, wherever I am, because, we need to support our content creators, because, there is no me without you, and frankly, everyone always thinks they're going to get everything for free, and which is true to a limit. We like doing this, but there is a limit, right, to what we can expect. So keep that in mind. And I guess I'll see you on Facebook Live next week. Same time, same channel. We're going to be talking about what's coming up in December. So bye, Facebook Live. And for those of you who are joining us on Cam 4, hello. We're going to continue in a moment.